That's okay. That's okay. It's all kinds of new this week. I love it. That's okay.
Oh, we're live.
Yep, we are live. I got a chat room over there. We're only going to do one chat room, so because there we go. Wait, what did that pop up? You might be live over here too. Okay, let's do that. Okay.
Just making faces at the camera live.
There's nothing is live. They can't see us now. Hold on. All right. There, so we can see Chilla. In 3, 2, 1. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron in the in the
far off lands.
In the far off lands of the Doubletree Hotel in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So here we are. I got the Dudders with me.
Hi, I have a very short headphone length, so I'll be very close.
Oh wait, well, it's like wrapped around my stuff. Hold on a second. Fine. There you go. I'll give you a little bit of length there. And also, you are here with me on location at work. We'll talk about why we're here in Ann Arbor and where the heck we came from in a little bit. But first with us, he is, and I got no switcher right now. So, well, not in this way, but with us from the Big D of Dormont, PA, he is the gadget guru with Big Bank International, Esquire. It is John Chichilla.
How's it going?
It's going good. And we all have a scenery change. I have this nice tree behind me over here on the 4th floor. And you got, I don't know, you got a view of the pool or something, don't you?
I can look at the pool.
There you go. She's creeping on the pool goers. So and to not be undone by Chilla, we're coming at you with a full 4K camera that we use to film these events. Although it looks like you have something you're trying to one up us with a little bit over there.
Mine's 4K, so it's not like it's 8K or anything magical, but it can do some pretty neat picture-in-picture. And it's a big bar.
So apologize for the differences in quality and looks and everything like that. Not so much of the bells and whistles, but we're still going to have the awesome cast for you. Or it's going to sound a little different with you if you're with us on the audio side. Hey, but we're not the other ones. I love that like the biggest podcast that I've listened to for the last like 18 years also had their studio like not happen this week, and they just did the show on Zoom. And that is great that we can do this, right? So but we'll talk a little bit about how we're coming to you and some of the interesting things we did so we can be a little bit closer to what we do in the studio. But in the meantime, this is the AwesomeCast. Katie, it's in front of you. You want to read this stuff? You know how we do the intro?
No, I don't pay attention.
No, we do. They can email us and stuff, right?
Oh, look at that. They can email us. Yeah, you can AwesomeCast. You can email us at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com for comments or advertising opportunities. Twitter, we are AwesomeCast. Facebook, we're AwesomeCast. We're AwesomeCast on Discord. We're AwesomeCast on Reddit.
Yes.
We're AwesomeCast everywhere. But subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcast app and watch video versions on Facebook and YouTube, or subscribe to the Sorgatron Media Master Feed for even more podcasts all in one place. Amazing. You can catch us every Tuesday, AwesomeCast live on Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And shout out to our audio partners at Post Industrial Audio.
And also thank you to our Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/awesomecast. Thank you so much, everybody that does support the show. And I don't know why I put the control computer so far away from me. Thank you to our friends at the executive producer level, Brian Crawford, at the coffee club level, Matt Weller, John Carmen, Cynthia Klosky, Scott McTaggart, and Mike Pound. At the Family Show level, Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Ponder. You guys help us keep the podcast going, paying for the server as we go. And thank you so much, everybody, for being a part of the show and contributing to it so we can keep this rolling. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. First of all, just because, I mean, he's got a lot going on there, and I have pictures to show it off. Chilla, is your awesome thing what you're coming at us on? This is part of your webcam journey that we've been talking about, right?
This is part of the webcam journey. So I don't know if you can bring up the picture, but I also put a link in the notes This is the Rallybar from Logitech. This is actually, I think, the Rallybar Mini. So it's not 100% exactly what I put in the notes, but one of the things that this does, it does have a pan tilt zoom camera built right into the center of it. It has an AI viewfinder that's separate from that device. It comes with a handy dandy remote that you can use for pan tilt zoom, volume up, volume down. I can hang up on this call right now just by tapping this button. The other interesting thing to me of this device is the AI allows for automatic, it'll follow you around the room, it'll automatically pan out. One of the also cool things, I don't have any, you can actually hook up external mic pods that would probably improve the sound from a microphone perspective. The other thing that this will do is it has different mounting options. So you can mount it above a TV, you can mount it under a TV, you can mount it to a wall. And it actually, on the back of the device, on the inside, it connects, I have this connected in USB mode, but it also has an appliance mode where you can actually have like a touch screen type device. It will automatically, you can set it up to use Teams or Zoom. So it becomes an actual Zoom room. And you can actually, it actually has 2 HDMI ports built into it. So you could actually put 2 TVs mounted up on the wall side by side, and you could have all of your video conferencing on one side and all of your content that you're sharing on another. So it does have a rather large amount of different configurations that it can be put in. All around, I'm pretty impressed with it. One of the things that, and I looked at this versus I looked at a Polycom device, this does have speaker drivers on both sides and adaptive beamforming mics all over the device, whereas some of them only have one set of speakers, like one speaker off to the side, and all of their speakers are ported as well. So it does sound like, you sound, to be quite honest with you, just as good as when you're in studio.
And we should be showing you a picture right now as I'm talking, because I realize I have to talk to show you anything. So yeah, it's a bar, guys. It's if you've seen a sound bar kind of situation or a conference center kind of bar under that TV. So that's what he's got set up above there. I can say, we've done this, because somebody, had one of these installed, and we've done, we integrated it with like some Zencaster stuff for podcasts so they could see each other at least. But we made the mistake of having somebody use it for a podcast recording. I can say it's good for conferences, but I would say it's not podcast quality recording, at least like, the ideal setup. It feels, it's roomy, but it's very listenable. Absolutely. Plus, I'm sure Skype's kind of doing some work on that too to make it sound great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You tell me what the video quality looks like too coming across. I know, unlike normal, because this is in a different room, I'm not in the normal office, but I did get to put on my nice digital fireplace behind me. So
yes, it is nice. I guess. Well, you're on Zoom and hotel room Wi-Fi, so I don't know even what we look coming out to you guys. But I can tell you that like on the feed, you look great. On the phone feed, it looks pretty great. So no, I think it's pretty nice. So did you say, is it a 4K device that's kind of cropping in, or
it's 4K that's cropping in? It'll auto crop. It'll follow me around a room. You can set it to kind of zoom in on a thing. And then there's also a mic or a remote. Like I said, here's me zoomed all the way out. Actually, it'll go out a
it
little
looks
bit
like
further.
you look like you're on the bridge of a cozy command center right there. Look at that.
I can bring it all.
You zoom in straight in. Got those pops. You got that digital fireplace, which I'm sure you talked about here on the show. So actually,
yeah, so it's overall, I'm pretty happy with the device. I will have to play around. I actually picked up an external, I can't remember who makes it, microphone. So I'm interested in playing around with that too.
Very good. That'll be good. And you're coming off if you're wondering a little different sound from him, he is coming off a different Bluetooth headset than he normally does. So that again, a lot of different this week. So, anyways, that's cool. And what was that called again?
This is the Logitech Rallybar.
Oh, there it is, and there is a look at it there. And go away, Ratatouille. So you can go to get that. How much is that going for?
The upper end model runs a mere $4,000. So not for everyone. This model I think this is the Rallybar Mini.
Okay.
Which runs a little lower than that. I'm sorry, the Meetup. I think this might be one of the meetups. I think this one's around $1,200.
Okay, there you go. Affordable ? But no, as far as like an office setting, like absolutely, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is meant for this device is meant for either a small conference room to be run by itself, or it can actually span out to I think up to 12 people. And you would need the remote mic pods for that, and some additional gear. But like I said, it can become a room device. So if you think of like if you're actually booking rooms in an enterprise, this would become. It wouldn't be John Chichilla coming at you. It would be, room 3B coming at you.
Nice. I like that. Awesome. So let's get into our awesome thing. I think we have a collective awesome thing of the week, don't we? I don't know. You want to start on this one?
So I'm just realizing in this photo you're going to share, I'm wearing the exact same shirt right
Oh, wait, look at that.
I'm wearing
my
Star Wars shirt, my Mandalorian shirt here. So we were in Rochester, New York.
We were. We were, not currently.
We were. In Rochester, New York, and for SAE's
Baja SAE, yes.
And so we were up there, and there's this museum we've been wanting to check out, and it's the Strong Museum of Play. And we I think we kind of barely had an idea what we were getting into. It wasn't something we did a lot of research into, and we were like, let's just go check it out. We knew that there was a video game Hall of Fame.
And we talked about it on the show a few times, because we talked about like Tetris going in the Video Game Hall of Fame, and I'm sure there's a couple other stories, because there's multiple things that we saw there that were like, we talked about this on the show. This is the thing. And this was the place, right? So it was kind of cool to kind of pull that together.
And yeah, so we finally got to go there, and it's way more than I could have ever expected. It's a gorgeous place to begin with. And just they have this wonderful area for kiddos at the beginning where you kind of walk through a storybook, and it's very climbable. It's like a pirate ship. There's all kinds of stuff happening. And then you move through this, and you get to, like, there was an interactive toy wall where you stood in front of the toy wall, and you were able to pick up, there was a Barbie, there was a Hot Wheels car, and kind of digitally play with it. And but it was like just a huge museum of all kinds of toys from it's decades and decades.
It kind of I haven't been there for so long, but it kind of reminded me, now I'm thinking about it, like of the Children's Museum back home, because there's a lot of these play areas, right? So it was cool because you had all these toys and everything like behind glass that you can go through and remember your childhood, but then not 10 feet away from any of those is something that a child could play with, right? So it was like I really felt it was like, okay, I'm gonna go relive my childhood, kiddo, go over there and play for a bit, but also the play was experiential in whatever the exhibit around you was. Like when we got to the video game one, there was just an arcade, right? And they took tokens and stuff, but then there was also like every once in a while there was like, so like there's a picture here of Missy playing giant controller, Nintendo controller Super Mario, right? Things like that were like super interactive. And what was the one that they were doing when we were leaving? Was it Pac-Man or no? Was there giant Pong there as well? Because there was the one that we saw at the airport, because they had a small area at the airport that just had giant Pong with a big TV and giant versions of the Atari controllers and everything like that. That I know I put it out on Twitter earlier too. But it was just really, really fun, really, really crazy. And the Hall of Fame and just all the stuff they had was really cool. And there's a carousel.
Yeah,
and there's a
we had to go
carousel.
on. I love carousels. We had to go on the carousel. It was so much fun. I think in the Sesame Street.
Sesame Street was tremendous.
Yeah, it was definitely like I just wanted to run around Sesame Street.
Like, and this was like a whole like play area. Like you walk back that alleyway and end up in a playground kind of situation. That's all Sesame Street and Elmo's Playland and everything like that. Like it was just so cool. And of course, we got a selfie with you, Chilla, because you were represented there.
So how did that work out? Like where? Because I see Hulk back there too. So what was?
Yes.
Was it just a bunch of statues? Like what was the deal with that?
It was a Hall of Superheroes kind of situation, and again, interactive things like I tweeted the picture. There's this, you can take a picture of you climbing a wall, kind of thing. Like those kind of scaling the side of a building. I will see if I can find that here real quick.
There were a lot of comic book covers. There were some interactive games where, like, I think it was Green Goblin. Why were you flying?
I don't know if that was supposed to be it was like you're on like a hover, like a surf, those interactive surfboard kind of games, like board runner kind of things. Like you're on a balance board and you're kind of flying and have to collect things. And did you beat Doctor?
I think it reminded me.
It reminded you of that, but it was definitely kind of an off-brand kind of situation, and it just. A lot. It's stuff like Chilla. This is a thing that you bring the kiddo to, and you're gonna love it as much as they do, because they're like, I don't care about that ET cartridge that was unearthed from the desert. I'm going to go play with this giant Pong over here. While you're like, look at this thing. Okay, go ahead. Like that seems like the vibe, and I think it's really smart the way they did that. So if like the kid's like, I don't care about the old stuff, you're just like, well, there's this over here. Just go have fun. So,
and the best part, like the whole thing, it's a museum of play, because they talk about the importance of play and how we should continue to play, no matter it starts out when we're kids, and just like even to as adulthood, we still need to play, and how important it is to development and just well-being and well-rounded humans.
Absolutely. We're showing the because we had to fly out of Rochester Monday morning to get here in Ann Arbor for this, and this is the giant Pong that we were playing very badly, by the way. And then they had freebie games, and the games they had in there, Pac-Man, Street Fighter, other games like that were like things that were inducted in the Hall of Fame. So that was a very, very cool thing. And again, it kind of extended our experience several days later. It was cool. And then they had a pinball section with a few games I've never seen. They had a lot of really cool stuff. The Sesame Street, like we said, they had a Snoopy exhibit, a Bernstein Bears exhibit, like a whole Bernstein Bears like kind of town thing going on.
And it just kept going. And like every time we turned the corner, it was just like a different amount of like just pure joy.
No, absolutely. I got to play with a giant puppet. That kind of worked, I think. This was in the storybook kind of area, kind of thing. It was like an interactive thing where you can move his arms and everything. So it, again, just worth it. And it was like open one evening of the week, so it was a lot of like, here's me hanging off a building, but just a lot of fun, and probably even better if you bring a kid, to be honest. So. But that's the Strong Museum of Play in Rochester, New York. If you stay downtown, it's not far away, actually. So I'm seeing if there's anything else in here. There we go. That's all the pics. That was the fun stuff we were playing with. So highly recommended. And I just saw a thing. I think I'm going to have a separate awesome thing of the week, because one thing is cool about having like Katie or Tyler joining me on Formula over these events is I'm starting to think different ways about how we're presenting some of these videos, and the tools that I'm completely carrying with me all the time. I'm holding up my iPhone, and they're like, and we were just saying cinematic everything, right? And I put a couple videos up on my Twitter too, but I'm realizing how much this is going to bring, like using the iPhone, again, big 4K, $4,000 camera we're using for this show, right? Or for the project. But then like, little things like we're doing walkouts and stuff for something that we're shooting. And I threw a little sample out there. Like playing with cinematic mode has been phenomenal, because I mean, we're in this thing where there's multiple people, around a car, around a cart, around a plane, and that cinematic face tracking is interesting. Sometimes it goes wild because there's like 10 people and it doesn't know where to go. But again, you can go in and change that kind of thing. And I think was that today I just like put my phone on my tripod and went out to the paddocks to get students doing things. And it's been, I haven't taken all of this stuff into Final Cut necessarily yet to see how it interacts with that, and all the layering. I imagine everything gets kind of pre-rendered when it shoots out off of your phone, and you don't get all those layers to play with anymore. I don't know, unconfirmed. There's been some updates of Final Cut I'm not aware of, but it's been just the results I'm seeing on my phone at least have been tremendous. And it's also reminding me, thanks to you actually using portrait mode more. It's been a really, really big thing with me over the last couple of weeks, and just kind of because we always have these tools, but we don't think of them in the moment. And it's just like when we were just talking with our new friend about the YouTube videos that he did today. So one of the guys on the Toronto team, and it's just like that idea of like we go out with a video photography and we just know, okay, that's a shot. Like it's just kind of baked in, and it's not happening yet with what's on this phone because they're new features, right? And that's just been a really cool for me, thanks to you guys, just a stretching of what we're going to be able to do, and I'm hoping it brings a lot more to what we're going to be putting out there. And we'll find out really quick because I have to have a highlight video of this event we're at right now by Sunday. So we'll find out. So just throw it out there. Partner is saying that Filmic Pro Duo, shooting yourself and the subject at the same time. Oh, you know what? I haven't gone and grabbed that since I've updated my phone. I think I do have just Filmic Pro. I don't know if that is an upgrade maybe. Yeah, I do have Filmic Pro. Oh, guess what I'm playing with later? Okay, we'll play with that later. Anyways, thanks for that one. I'm gonna have to put that on my front page. So I just realized I don't have graphics. It's so. Hey, shout out to our friends. They're not here, and we're missing them like a lot right now. I mean, these chili fries are only so good that I got off a Grubhub, but they didn't even come to my door. Okay, I had to go down to the front desk like an animal. But anyways, give a shout out to our friends that do deliver straight to your door. Slice on Broadway in Pittsburgh, and I believe that you were telling me they have a 5th location coming.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
I'm just gonna hold it up like it's
all right. Yeah, make sure it's not clear on there. There it is. Slices on Broadway. Okay, I can pull the website up.
Yeah.
Beachview, Carnegie, the East End, the North Hills, and now Southside works.
It sounds like they're
Jeez, Rico won't stop. So give a shout out to those guys. Thank you to our friends at Slice on Broadway for supporting the show over a decade. And actually, Chilla, because this always freaking happens. 1, we forget, or 2, I'm always on the road. This is our anniversary week of the AwesomeCast.
No way.
Starting in 2010 with Rob De La Creta. I did not get him on the show again this time. What was that like? It was like 2 years ago when I wasn't traveling. So thank you, COVID. So was this 12 years now? 12 years? Does that seem right? 2010, 12 years, 2022, 12 years. Yeah. That we've been doing this thing. And thank you everybody that's been watching all these years, still watching and supporting the show and all that. Even we do weird stuff from a hotel room in Ann Arbor. So who knows what the or the Mayhem show is going to look like from here. And as is seemingly tradition on our anniversary show, WWDC is this week, but no E3 again. I guess we should, or do you want to talk about we'll talk about Autodrive in a little bit, maybe. I feel like we should wait for the event to finish.
Sure.
I don't know. We can preview it a little bit. So Chilla, we've been trying to catch up because we were busy here. And what kind of stuck out to you for WWDC this year?
They forgot about Apple TV.
Oh,
like I don't think they said there was some stuff after the fact announced, but I don't think they really said anything. So Apple TV is going to pick up some additional, what do they call it, the Matter, where it's the new specification for home automation, home equipment, wireless switches, all that kind of stuff. So they'll probably have some stuff in there on that tech. They're picking up better, I think I read better multi-person profiling on the device. And then there was one other piece. They also didn't mention anything about HomePod, which kind of surprised me. I thought there would have been better or more synergies being created between those two platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But, they didn't mention much. I like what they mentioned about iMessage. You're now going to be able to delete a message as long as I think it's been within 15 minutes. You can also go back and fix a typo or edit a iMessage. I'm pretty happy about that. And then I was pretty impressed with the new MacBook Airs that were announced, M2 processor. I'm interested to see what they do with that tech. And then the other cool thing I think, and I know they're taking some heat for it, but the ability to use an iPhone as a webcam with macOS I thought was pretty nice. But is that because their webcams are just crappy? But
it is a weird patch, isn't it?
Yeah. But I do like the feature function because I buy way more iPhones than I do my laptop. So it's, and I know some people run with their laptop closed, which also makes the webcam useless. I actually picked up a Asus Republic of Gamers laptop, and there was no webcam in that laptop. So, which was actually kind of nice. It was like, hey, I'm not wasting money on a webcam I'm probably never really going to want to use. So, I mean, even nowadays, I'm lugging the Brio camera around with me, and it just has a nice mount for the top of the laptop screen. So, I don't know. I like that. I like that concept, and I feel like it's a little more. I'm interested to see what the quality looks like.
Partner saying having an overhead desktop from an iPhone on the computer. That's the other thing. You can now you have another webcam that you can position differently. And if you're using Zoom and I presume FaceTime, it's not hard to change your camera here unless you have 12 cameras like me. I mean, look, we just did it if you're with us. There you go. There's camera 2. And then we can see the quality between this and the actual professional camera. So camera 1, camera 2. There you go.
So Brio 4K camera here, Rallybar Mini here, and then built-in camera for the laptop.
Wow.
Oh, the fidelity, even through zoom filter, you can tell the difference. Your fireplace doesn't pop as much, that's for sure.
No.
but I notice your Logitech bar definitely takes a minute to kick in and zoom in. Look at that dramatic zoom. Not as dramatic as the stuff last week, but
yeah, that was a lot closer last week.
There you go. He's positioning the camera now.
There we go.
The MacBook Airs and Pros getting that M2, I think that's interesting. It's always interesting to me that these start on the low end ones, right? But I guess that's, hey, this is the introductory to the new one. We refreshed it. I mean, that's the second one now, right? Well, you'll get the Pro and the Max and Ultra M2s next time we refresh all the rest of the lines.
But I also wonder because they always seem to come out with that higher end. Is it a cycle because they came out with the higher end kind of last before? So are you going to be upset if you just bought the latest, greatest, most upgraded version of that model, screen size, etc., and then hey, we know it's been 8 months. Here's a new one. Feel bad for yourself that you just picked up the new one.
Are you talking about like generally, or I have a MacBook Pro with the M1 something something, and now there's an M2 on an Air that outperforms me.
Well, no, I'm thinking
It's
more of
perfect.
you have a MacBook Pro, and you have the top. You bought the top of the line. If they would have brought some of the same stuff to that line, wouldn't it have been like an unnormal refresh cycle? Like
Mm-hmm.
if they're refreshing the same model every 6 months, people are just going to sit back and say, I'm going to wait because there's going to be another one in 6 months versus,
Yeah.
hey, if you give it, 18 months between refreshes, it's a little more palatable and you don't feel so bad for yourself.
Also, it depends, because I was seeing on our show, I think it was Twit was talking about how if you do a customized Mac Mini Studio, you got a nice 12-week wait because of supplies. So I think the whole timing has changed right now, right? So, but yeah, it'll be interesting. But hey, cool. If you're a MacBook Air person, you got the new fresh on there. But 18 hours of battery life, holy crap.
It's wild.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure not, doing this or editing in Final Cut, but iOS 16, iPadOS, and macOS I see are both getting, what is that? Stage Manager.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't realize the Mac was getting it, because remember, we were looking at a video of the iPad.
Mhm.
So we are getting multi-window management on the iPad, but that management is also coming to Mac OS. So now your Mac and iPad are going to behave similar, it seems. But the way they do this, and this whole stacking of, here's a picture of it on the Mac OS on the Apple website if you guys are on video with us. Like the stacking looks like it's going to be maddening for the way, because I think Katie, you and I were talking about this, like the way that we organize and work with applications. It doesn't seem like it works the same way. Oh, I just ended up in the wrong thing. There you go. And there's the iPad OS and what that looks like too. It's one of those things that I'm just not going to know until we obviously get our hands on this on an upgrade. But man, if you got one of them M1 iPads, this feels like you just got a tablet, or not tablet, like a Surface, like a computer, than an iPad, which just feels like a glorified, it's always felt like a glorified, not really a full computer thing, right?
But and I didn't get to see that part fully. It seems like everything kind of sits partially on top. Can you actually put it like where you can see the full other app in the background? Everything I've seen makes it look like it's a little bit. They said it will update if the app supports like some of the background refresh stuff, but I don't know. It seems like can you get things windowed running side by side?
Yeah. Like actively, other than doing the split screen thing like you can do now, right?
Mhm.
I also wondered, because I didn't see this yet either. Also, big news: weather app for iPad. Okay,
Woohoo!
cool. I've just been using AccuWeather. Thank you. I don't know how functional this is from the looks of things, but again, until we get our hands on it, and is this something just for the M1 iPad, right? Is this going to work on my 2015 iPad Pro? I doubt it. I really doubt it. It's already feeling kind of a little tight. So, oh no.
I feel like this is like a big part of pushing Procreate more too, because it was like, look what you could do with this, and like I feel like that's and you're seeing more and more talk about Procreate. I think they just kind of are capitalizing on that too. You could put this is where you work together, and then we're gonna brainstorm.
Big push to the sharing and collaboration that's going to be integrated on the Apple apps. So yeah, that kind of leans toward that too. And then is it Procreate? What was the application for brainstorming?
It was Procreate. It was like
really?
Essentially they were drawing and coloring, and then I can send it up here, and now it's over here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all.
Uh,
What, which one is this?
yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, like the weird.
Yeah, but also I love when they show this thing. It's like, but it's that whiteboarding, right? And Shelly, you've shared a lot of whiteboarding things I know from Microsoft that have gotten you excited over the years.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this works. Where I think they need to make this just work everywhere all the time. Like if I could fire up a whiteboard session, like we're on a FaceTime meeting, right? And I can just tap a button, and as easy as it is to snap a picture or pass a file, it needs to be as instantaneous and as easy to bring up that whiteboard where, maybe you're just on a phone, but two other people in the meeting are on an iPad or on whatever type of device. I think where it could fall apart is if, and I didn't see all the presentations. I'm interested. What did they do for non-Apple people?
Right, exactly. The answer is get an Apple. Freeform. Freeform is a brainstorm app.
They kind of fixed that though, right? For FaceTime, right? I can send a person a link and they can join the FaceTime meeting over a browser.
Right. So the question is, will there be, like, you can go to iCloud.com on any computer and use most of their apps in browser. Is Freeform going to be one of those? That's the question, right?
Right.
Probably. I'd say probably. I'd say 90% sure it's going to happen. If not, like immediately when they release the new OSs, I think it will within the next year, probably. So, I mean, it only makes sense if you're trying to push this. You have to, because everything else is doing this. I can send notes. I can send other things. It opens up a browser, and that's it. So, opens up in a web app, and you can still use it on your Surface. It'd be amazing. So. Anything else? Anything that stuck out for you? iOS is getting a lot of stuff. It looks like they're upping fitness features on WatchOS. Like a lot of new notifications. I mean, this is all kind of just some good usability gloss that's happening across the platforms. It seems.
Yeah, the lock screen widget, some lock screen widget updates. I think that's exciting. Sounds like they're going to get and this is going to sound silly. But what is the dynamic wallpaper? Why can't I? And maybe they finally did. I want customizable dynamic wallpaper. I don't understand why we can't crack that nut, or why they can't open that up to others to be able to do something with.
Nobody's thinking to bother with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at watch faces.
But look at what happened when they allowed you to redo the icons. Like how many people went crazy building all kinds of fun customizations and whatnot for that. Now I think there's a lot to be said for giving people the little ways to customize their device. It's still an Apple device. It still carries the logo, but making it kind of look unique to that individual.
It's always been the Apple problem. Like, it's like, think different, be a different person, walk your own beat, but your device is going to look like everybody else's. Like that. Like it's like, be different from everything else, but same as the rest of us. Yeah, it's always been kind of a curious, as in a curious messaging problem that they have there. So, no. So, Katie, you were attending Autodrive Challenge for the first time this week, and we're 2 days into it.
Yes.
And in the past, you've seen the videos. You've seen that usually there's a car involved because it is Autodrive. What are we doing this year?
It's a cart.
It's a cart.
Yes. It's a cart. It's a cart.
It's a cart.
With a computer.
With
other things. So Autodrive is, I'm learning this is a multi-year program. And so essentially the best way I could figure out how to describe what they're building right now is the brain and the eyes for an autonomous vehicle that they're eventually going to build into a car. And they're using LiDAR, they're using all this cool technology, and they're it's literally a little cart with 4 wheels, and they're putting all this stuff on there, and this will eventually become a car. And like I get to see the car that it's going to go into. It was the
It was a Chevy Bolt EV. No, not the Hummer.
That's not what it's going into, even though I think a lot of folks would have loved that.
Yes. Oh, Twitter wants me to sign in here. I'm trying to find a good picture of the cart. No, that's us hiding by the porta potties. Because well, they were out, and I remember in the past. Listen, this is my PTSD. In the past, they'd have the cars, and they're moving, and they have the sensors, and I had to be very, very, very careful about where we can stand. Do not move to film these things. And at least once, I was standing in the wrong place that we thought was okay, and they're like, "You need to move." The car is freaking out because it sees you.
Because they're mapping these things on this. It's M City. It's like it's a little cityscape, and these parts in these vehicles, well, PreVehicles,
yes,
are they're reading what they're seeing in the signs, the stoplights, the road signs, what's on the ground, and just what's in their way with like big cars, and so they're gonna see us and what we're doing. So we definitely try to avoid their mapping when we could.
Yeah, it seemed like less important because right now it seems that they're going to wheel. From what I understand, when we get to the scoring days, which start tomorrow, they're going to wheel this cart out and basically sit at the intersection, and we're going to find out if it properly reads like road signs and stoplights, and that's it. That's all we're doing. Because then next year, and then we're going to do obstacles, I think, determining obstacles, like there's a blow up car, and there's, I think the deer or the pedestrian we're going to use again, right? And then next year, they figure out how to tie all that into a car, right? Because it was interesting because they started with the car at first. So now they're figuring out all these things and also how to make the car move responding to these things in the first year. And it's kind of a cart before the horse, or you threw the horse on the cart and you're teaching it to drive. It's actually really kind of what's happening, isn't it? But yeah, it's really interesting. Definitely interesting to shoot video and photo. But yeah, it's been, and also just seeing these guys, like the guys and girls out there with these carts, which are just their work cabinets. That's just a work cabinet. There's drawers on the other side. Everybody has the same one, but then some of them, of course, have decorated interesting. Michigan Tech, we recorded an interview with a really cool story about how they designed and why they designed their cart that involves like the northern lights and everything like this in this story, and it was something about a Greek god, right? I don't know if you were over there when he was telling me that bit, but they started telling us about it. They're like, oh, these are shooting stars and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm talking to one of you guys about what's going on here. They got a flame. I think it was like, flame of I don't know, some god. It was really cool. And then and seeing the different configurations, everybody's trying to accomplish the same thing. Everybody has access to the same parts, right? The same vendors for cameras and sensors and things I don't understand, control units. I think it was the one we were talking to today, right? But the configurations are so wild, so wildly different, and seeing how they're interpreting those kinds of things. So again, more of a software issue, but more of a programming thing. But also, like, these programs are like, okay, now I have to figure out how this works out in the real world when we apply it. So it is really cool. We're 2 days into this. There's another 3 days, including 2 scoring days, basically, in an award center that will be streamed here on Sunday. So looking forward to seeing how all that pans out. And I don't know, it's year 1 of a 4-year thing. And the goal is a level 4 fully autonomous vehicle. See if we get there. But either way, like, these guys are learning a lot, and I know we've talked to a lot of people that are there as advisors that have, I'm trying to remember which school that one guy was we keep talking to, because I know I've interviewed him in the past. I think he's probably Toronto or something. But yeah, it's been really, really interesting and cool to talking to kids that are definitely smarter than all of us. So yes. So, whoop, there we go. But no, really interesting and cool to be out here with this and coming off of Baja has been a really kind of a system shock a little bit.
Absolutely.
So, especially for you, the first year out here.
It's like,
Yes.
high impact, and this is a little bit lower impact.
Absolutely. So keep an eye on our social media. We'll be tweeting out stuff from the week as things go, and whatever shenanigans we get into, because they let us just out there with our cameras and let us take a golf cart.
Yeah, we did get riding golf carts. I think.
So
I played Ann Arbor. Got to ride in a golf cart.
oh, they're giving me too much freedom at these things. But anyways, so that's what's going on there. I can't remember. Is there any other big news going on, Chilla?
Not that I can. I think there's going to be some gaming announcements coming up, but I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, it's been interesting. E3 has kind of been virtualized and independentized. We have like, I think Sony just had a state of play. Xbox has like 2 days of announcements coming up. Everybody's still using the time to do the announcements like they usually do, but they're getting the hype train going for the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they kind of have to for their cycles, to make sure everything works out. And people expect stuff around this time of year. So we'll see how those work out and everything like that. Yeah, we'll see how that rolls. I'm still just playing Dragon Ball Fighter personally, and like old Chip and Dale on the NES. So with that, well, I think that should do it here. For I don't know. I keep thinking I'm in a different time zone. Oh, I'm looking at the clock.
It's been weird.
All this travel without.
We do from Rochester. We landed. We left it. Our flight was like 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 on Monday. Landed here. Jumped out here. Started on things and.
Yes. Yeah, it feels like we've been here a week already. So we will be back in the studio next week. Normal, not the Skype thing. Or sorry, Zoom. God, Zoom thing that's going on here.
It's like Kleenex. It's all just Skype.
It kind of is, isn't it? Sorry, just doing a little more checking on the chat room to see if there's anything else out there. There's Ponder correcting us when we said the wrong thing. Sorgatron on the Twitter to follow everything that's going on this week and everything. Thank you, Michael Fedor. He shared about if you want to follow some people that are going to exotic places and tagged me and Katie. And then I said, yes, but not now, because all I'm doing is Michigan for the next couple of weeks. So this is going to be a lot less exciting, but at least we get to explore Ann Arbor. But anyways, Dudders on the Twitter.
Yep, KateMariePGH on Instagram.
A lot of great Instagram stories happening from this week too.
The porta potties, Scotty's potties.
Yes, there's strangely a lot of activity around the porta potties. Probably because you were staying away from the ones in Rochester. Yeah. Chilla is at Chilla on the Twitters.
John should chill on the Facebooks, and I'll be coming to you from a different video camera next week.
It's a whole new lens and angle. That's it for us. This is going to be a hard out because I don't have any graphics or music for this for you guys on the live. Which that's not going to matter to anybody later, I suppose, right? Thank you much. You have been our awesome audience. We're coming at you from awesome Ann Arbor. Have an awesome week.